Hello there. Ever wonder what makes a very good public speaker? Well, let me show you how. My name is Early Raimundo Monge, a licensed professional teacher and a communications instructor from the Civil Military Operations School, Philippine Navy. And for today, we are going to talk about the art of public speaking. Well, according to studies, three of the biggest fears that men usually encounter in their lifetime are the following. The third one would be the fear of death. The next one would be the fear of snakes. And ironically, the most fearsome to men would be the fear of public speaking. Pero bakit nga ba? Bakit nga ba takot na takot tayo sa pagsasalita sa harap ng napakaraming tao? Well, based on the studies, about 10% of the population actually loves public speaking. These are the people who enjoy doing public discourse in front of a listening people. Sila yung mga taong hindi natatakot at tila ba natutuwa pang magsalita sa unahan. While another 10% are those who are genuinely terrified. They get stage fright. Sila yung mga kinakabahan at tila ba hindi kaya magsalita sa unahan nang hindi nanginginig at tila ba hihimatayin pa. Well, as for the rest of us, around 80% of the population are those who get butterflies, get anxious, we don't get enough sleep right before we do our public speaking, but at the end of the day, we emerge victorious because we just have fun with it. But then again, why do we exactly fear public speaking? Well, most of us fear public speaking because we are fearful of being judged. And when we say being judged, you will be judged badly. Ano kayang sasabihin nila kapag nagsalita ako sa unahan? Or, you may look like a fool. Mukha ba akong tanga habang ako'y nagsasalita sa unahan? You might make mistakes along the way, and you just find yourself lost in your train of thoughts. You might feel extremely humiliated. Nakakahiya ata ako sa unahan. Or they won't say or they won't get what you're trying to say. Naiintindihan pa ba nila ako? Natutuwa pa ba sila sa ginagawa ko? And basically, it all boils down to the fact that they might not like you. Baka hindi naman nila ako gusto, kaya hindi nila ako mapapakinggan. Then again, before we actually truly understand why we fear public speaking, we must first understand what public speaking is all about. And if we are to define public speaking would be a process and an act. And by means of process and an act, it's about speaking or giving a lecture to a group of people in a structured, deliberate manner intended to inform, influence, or entertain a listening audience. Now, commonly we say public speaking as a face-to-face speaking engagement between individuals and an audience for the purpose of communication. So kapag kayo ay nagsasalita sa unahan, it is already defined or it is already understood that there is a listening audience. Now, public speaking, okay, have different types. Also, for us to be able to become a very good public speaker, we should also learn to understand what makes a listener listen to a speaker. And who are we going to talk to when we do our public speaking? And basically, what do we do to prepare ourselves for public speaking? Now, going to the aspects of public speaking, we must first learn the different parts and the manner of delivery in doing our public speaking. Now, let us first identify or differentiate the different forms or types of public speaking. The first type would be extempore, which is defined as without planning or preparation and right on the spot. The second one would be prepared or having time to think and develop your material before you speak. Moreover, we do public speaking because the purpose of which is for us to inform, to persuade, to motivate, and to entertain. Now, going along the process of knowing what public speaking is all about, we differentiate its different kinds. So the first kind would be what we call the impromptu speech under the extempore speech. And by impromptu, it means impromptu or at hand, at readiness, or to bring forth. These are the types of speech that we don't usually prepare for. So magsasalita ka lamang sa unahan base sa kung ano yung nalalaman mo at naiintindihan mo as regards to the topic that was given to you at hand. Now, in a public speaking class, the students might ask to select a topic such as a famous saying or a famous household word wherein you dabbled on that particular topic. Then you just explore whatever it is that you know about that topic and you just elaborate it along the way. Now, another type of speech, or another kind of speech rather, would be the informative speech. This could actually fall on the prepared speech. Prepared in a sense that is, you are trying to share new ideas and build new perception. Therefore, it is necessary that you do your research about the topic. Hence, you need to prepare. Now, always remember that these information that you put into your informative speech will affect your audience. So the purpose of this is for you to be able to create a new understanding or to form some sort of appreciation on the topic that you're trying to discuss in front. That is why there is a need for an exact amount of preparation for you to be able to deliver a very good and substantial informative speech. The next would be the persuasive speech. From the word itself, persuasive or to persuade. Now, if the informative speech is there to inform you and for you to be able to create an understanding on a certain topic, the persuasive speech, on the other hand, makes you believe on the argument that was presented to you by the speaker. Is it worth supporting emotionally and logically? And for us to be able to fully support or to fully understand what the particular argument is being presented by a speaker, so that you would be able to go through his or her opinion. Now, persuasive speech is commonly used for us to be able to sell a particular idea. For example, most of the advertising products that we encounter over the media makes use of persuasive speech. And persuasion, in a way, requires a very intensive preparation because you have to provide all the necessary information, but just enough for you to be able to capture the interest and for you to be able to get the attention of your listening audience. And of course, mostly, if an informative speech appeals to your intellect or to your logic, the persuasive speech, on the other hand, appeals to your emotions, to your attitudes, to your values, and it forms a good sense to the listeners for them to be able to encourage support on behalf or in support to the speaker's stance. And of course, it has to be substantial enough in a sense that they would be able to grasp the logic and of course the ethos and the pathos behind what you are trying to say. Now, going through the different kinds of speeches, one might ask, why do we listen to speakers? Why is it important for us to listen to public speakers like me? Well, basically speaking, is an important method for communicating knowledge and expressing ideas. Marami sa atin ang nagpapahiwatig ng ating mga ideya at kaisipan sa pamamagitan ng ating pananalita. And because of that, we were able to effectively communicate verbally to other people, okay, whether it is an individual or in groups, which is very much essential, especially if you are in a particular organization that requires a certain amount of communication. Kailangan nating makipag-usap dahil ito lamang po yung ating pamamaraan upang maipahiwatig at maipabatid natin sa ating mga tao o sa ating mga kasamahan kung ano yung nais nating, kung ano ang ating mensahe as regards to the accomplishment of our vested mission. And for us to be able to get a listening audience, we must first learn what kind of audience are we talking to? And by learning our types of audience, first we must know their age bracket. Who am I talking to in terms of age? How old is the majority of the crowd? This is very vital and very important to us speakers because how would we communicate in a certain language that is understandable to all if we do not know the generation of the audience that we are talking to? Baka mamaya tayo lang yung nakakaintindi ng mga pinagsasabi natin sapagkat yung mga nakikinig sa atin ay hindi inabutan yung henerasyon na atin palang kinabibilangan. We must speak the language of our target audience based on their age and their generation. Now, then again, you have to be gender sensitive as well. Are there more boys or girls in the audience? Sino ba yung pinakamarami at sino ba doon ang mas kakaunti? In a way that you won't sound offensive to most of the listening audience. What topics would they be interested with? Baka mamaya kasi ikaw lang naman yung nakakaintindi sa topic na sinasabi mo. You have to be very, very sensitive with that. Because for you to be able to capture their attention, you must understand and you must appreciate the kind of audience that you have, especially as regards to their interests. How many people would be in the audience? Are you talking to a small group? Or are you talking to a large crowd? You have to be very, very careful with that because you have to be audible enough if you are talking to a large crowd, or you have to sound very appealing if you're talking to a small crowd. And will your audience be knowledgeable about the topic that you're talking about? What is it for them? An audience would greatly appreciate a certain topic if it is something that they can relate to. Kapag ang isang bagay ay hindi pinatutungkulan or hindi kinauukulan at hindi mahalaga sa isang nakikinig, asahan mo na ang kanilang interes ay hindi rin mapupunta sa kung ano ang iyong sinasabi bilang isang public speaker. But regardless of those, we have to ensure, okay, that we have to win the audience by hook or by crook. So aside from knowing all those factors, we have to know the certain strategy for us to be able to win our target audience. And for us to be able to do that, you have to keep your discussion very, very interesting. And by very interesting, you have to relate to their certain experiences by means of using stories or by providing interesting facts that they can relate to. Or you can go straight to the point. Just tell them what you're trying to tell them so that you won't go on and on and on and on. And trust me, that would bore your audience to death. Or just keep your comments simple but very informative. You have to just go direct straight to the point so that your audience won't get sleepy during your discussion. Now, after we understand or after knowing the kind of speech that we are going to deliver in front of our target audience, it is also vital that we learn the different parts of the speech. How do we do our speech? First, we must adhere to the IBC format. And by IBC format, it means that should have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. The introduction of the speech is one of the toughest, and one of the most important part of the speech. Why? Because it is a part of the speech wherein you get the audience's attention. You won't be able to capture the attention or the interest of your audience kung hindi po maganda ang ating introduction. So the best way for you to be able to start your introduction is first just introduce yourself. Good morning, my name is Erlene R. Monghe, and for today we are going to talk about public speaking. State your purpose. I am here to inform you about the different kinds of speeches so that we would be able to deliver an effective speech, or we would be able to create a very effective public speaking exercise right after our discussion. Relate the importance to the audience. This is an important topic because public speaking is one of the soft skills that we must learn for us to be able to deliver our job effectively. And of course, preview the main points that you will cover. So for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you about the parts, the kinds, and of course, the examples of speeches. Right after the introduction, of course, is the body of the speech. Now, if your introduction tells us what your speech is all about, the body of the speech explores all the necessary information and covers all the bases that needs to be discussed in your speech. It conveys us the message. What is your speech all about? Begin developing your speech by working on the middle first or by the body. The body covers everything you want to say during your speech. Therefore, the body is the main content. The body contains the main idea, the thesis statement, what your speech is trying to tell us. Now, for us to be able to create a very comprehensive yet concise speech, it is important that we adhere to the three main point rule. And by means of three main point rule, we only have to dabble on three important main points for us to be able to discuss all throughout the entirety of our speech. Tatlong main points lamang po ang kailangan natin for us to be able, of course, to make it concise, to make it comprehensive, and to make it relatable, and of course, madaling tandaan ng ating target audience. The last part would be the conclusion. If in the introduction you've given a comprehensive yet concise introduction of your topic, in the conclusion, you highlight the main point. If the introduction is a preview, the conclusion will be the wrap up. Cover the main points very briefly, so short that you wouldn't be going over and over again with your speech. And you have to provide your audience the feeling of satisfaction in a sense that you have accomplished what you are trying to say. If the purpose of the speech is to inform, by the time that you reach the conclusion of your speech, it should be that the audience already understands what you are trying to inform them. If your purpose is to motivate them by the end of the conclusion, your audience should be motivated. If the purpose is to persuade them towards your argument, by the time that you reach the conclusion, they will be persuaded to believe your main argument. Of course, the conclusion would include your closing statement. With that, I hope everybody fully understands the importance of public speaking. And thank the audience for their attention. Thank you very much, and a great day to us all. Now, for us to be able to become a very good or very effective public speaker, the first step is very vital. For us to be able to do that, of course, be prepared. Take a deep breath. Slow down your breathing and pause between sentences. I usually tell my students to adhere to the 1-2 pause rule. So for every word, you count 1. When you reach a period, you count 2. So be 1 prepared, 1 2. That's a 1-2 pause rule. And for you to be able to do, you are to do that, of course, so that you won't be able to sound way too fast or to sound way too slow for your audience. And at the same time, that would give you an ample time to take a deep breath and to breathe in between the sentences or to breathe in between the words. Also, get your audience engaged. And by engaging your audience, you can actually tell a joke, use a quote, or you can even sing whatever strategy you think would capture their attention. Walk around. Don't be afraid to explore the stage and take a walk. And that way, you would sustain the attention and the interest of your audience. Find your own way to reduce your nervousness. Before I actually go through public speaking, I drink a glass of water. That is to ease down my nervousness. And of course, whatever happens, you have to face your fear. Now, in delivering your speech, Three of the most important factors are the following: your voice, your appearance, and your body language. When you say appearance, you have to look very neat, very proper for you to be able to become an effective public speaker. And always remember that first impressions last. First impression matters. So whenever we go up there on stage, you have to be at your best. You have to be at your best, and you have to wear something that would be suitable for the occasion. Dress appropriately. Avoid any wrinkle. Wear a formal dress or a business suit whenever you're gracing a formal event. Do not put anything in your pocket that would cause any distraction to your audience. Leave your handbag at your seat. Do not bring anything. Decent colors will do. And by decent colors, you have to be earth tones or at least pastel tones, not loud colors that would attract too much attention or uh, that would make you look like a fool in front of a listening audience. And of course, tailored look always gives more authority. So make sure that the clothes that you are wearing are appropriate and at the same time are fitted to suit your body size and your body shape. And of course, always choose a comfortable shoes, not that would make you stumble and fall in front of a listening audience and watching audience. In terms of speech and voice, you can make use of different variations in terms of your loudness, of your pitch, your quality, and your rate. Loudness, of course, ito ay pagtaas o pagbaba ng boss. Ito ay paglakas o paghina ng boses rather. It helps us sustain the attention of our audience. So if you think that your audience is already sleepy, you can make your voice extra louder. If you think that the message of the speech requires a certain amount of empathy or sympathy, you can soften your voice. Pitch, on the other hand, would be low and high. Uh, do not appear too high pitch because it would sound annoying in front of a listening crowd, or don't make it too low pitch that it would be dragging or nakakaantok na to our listening audience. And of course, the pitch helps us sustain the interest of our audiences in a sense that because of the pitch, they would notice the emotion behind the message that you're trying to impart with them. Of course, quality comes with the pitch as well. It provides emotion and feeling. Quality in terms of the delivery has something to do with the emotions. So if you're happy, the tone should be perky. If you are sad, it should be low and subdued. That is a quality. And of course, rate is how fast or how slow you deliver your message. It holds the attention of the audience. If you're going too fast, they won't be able to get what you're saying. If you're going too slow, they might eventually fall asleep while you're delivering your message. Another consideration for public speaking would be your body language. So when you say body language, it pertains to your posture, your facial expression, your eye contact, and of course, your gesture. The posture, of course, make sure that you show confidence. If a speaker is confident, they are believable. So kapag nakikita ng tao, nakapanipaniwala ka dahil mukha kang confident sa iyong mga pinagsasabi, of course, that adds up to your prestige and to your credibility as a public speaker. Don't appear too rigid to the point na mukha ka ng bangkay sa harapan ng mga nakikinig sa'yo. Just relax. Make sure that you distribute your weight evenly while doing your delivery in front. Another factor would be the facial expression. So when you say facial expression, it's how you project yourself in front of a listening audience. Don't forget to smile and just enjoy yourself while doing the public speaking. And of course, if there's a need for you to become serious because of the sense of the topic that you're trying to impart, just be serious. But whenever possible, just enjoy the process, smile whenever it is needed. eye contact. Eye contact is very important because, as they say, the eye is the window to the soul. Therefore, we make certain connections when we make eye contact. We establish a certain relationship by means of establishing as well an eye contact to our listening audience. When you look a person in the eye, it makes them feel as if they are included in what you are saying. However, we cannot go without the fact that some of us are really uncomfortable establishing eye contacts because we might get lost with our train of thoughts by doing that. So, if you think that you cannot exactly establish an eye contact, you can make use of certain techniques like looking on the forehead or just looking at the space right in between the eyebrows, and the audience would not actually notice that you're not looking at them. By doing that, okay, the audience won't be able to notice that you're not establishing exactly an eye contact, but still you hit your mark that you are establishing connection with them, only you're not looking them directly at the eye. Now, look for signals from the audience when you establish eye contact. Do they look excited? Do they look interested? Or are they really sleepy while you are doing your public speaking? Next, keep your head always at the eye level. Don't look up and don't look down. No one is watching you up there and no one is looking at you down there. Establish eye contact. And I mean, establish an eye level contact. Now, gestures. Gestures are very important in terms of establishing or in terms of giving an impact and emphasis towards what you are saying. Kailangan natin ng gesture kasi mas nakakabuka yan ng interest at mas nakakasustain yan ng attention ng ating mga listening audience. Now, use your head, your hands, your arm to help emphasize ideas and feelings. But of course, this should come naturally. Otherwise, you would look like uh, a very confused public speaker doing a field day in front of your listening audience. The next one would be the preparation. So how do we exactly prepare for public speaking? First things first, do your homework. And by doing your homework, you must research well about your topic. You develop your presentation in terms of accuracy, okay, content-wise, and of course, grammatical-wise. Create a speaking outline which narrates all the important details that is needed for you to be able to substantiate your topic. After doing that, practice out loud. You would be able to internalize what you're going to do in front of the people if you are practicing it out loud. And then afterwards, just polish and refine your manner of delivery. Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Am I slurring? Am I buckling? You will be able to notice that when you practice out loud. And basically, after doing everything, just practice, practice, and practice some more. In terms of planning your research, it is important that you gather enough data for you to be able to create a very meaty, a very substantial speech for your listening audience. And for you to be able to gather information effectively, you can make use of different media, such as the social media, our internet platforms, and of course, you can do the age-old library research, wherein you can find publication and books where you can actually cite which you can actually cite as part of your sources. So after gathering your information, that's the time that you create your outline. So make an outline that would cover the necessary field of interest revolving around that particular topic. And of course, that outline should be arranged in a particular logical sequence, whether it's from general to specific, specific to general, from inductive, okay, from the topmost to the bottom, or deductive, from the bottom to the top. That depends on you. And of course, always include the major points and the supporting details. And after doing an outline, prepare your note cards. By preparing your note cards, you can just make use of a small index card and you just put in there the outline of what you're going to say in front. You start your outline in the note cards with the beginning and the ending statement. And we do that because we just want you to have a certain guide on how you will deliver your speech just in time that whenever you come across a certain point and then snap, nakalimutan ko, you can go back to your note cards. But always remember that is not a cheat sheet. Your note card is there to guide you when you are lost, only when you are lost in doing your public speaking. Just write in there the keywords or the phrases that would bring back, okay, and that would jog your memory back to your speech. Letters and indents and all the details should be there to support your outline. And of course, always practice, right? Um, uh, Always practice the right grammar, okay, and composition rules so that you would be able to create a very comprehensive, a very detailed, and a very substantial note card. After that, you start practicing. Study your outline, study your note cards until such time that it becomes natural to you. Be aware of the verbal forms that you execute while doing your speech. And by doing that, you have to be aware of your pitch, the loudness, the rate, and the pronunciation of the words that are included in your speech. Of course, if you are aware of your verbal sign, you should be aware of your non-verbal signs as well, such as the way you move, your movement, your posture, your facial expression, your gestures, and of course, your overall appearance. When you are in front and doing your delivery of your speech, always make sure that you are very natural. Hindi yung nagmumukhang robot sa harapan ng napakaraming tao. Be lively. Be appropriate. Be appropriate in a sense that your demeanor and the way you project yourself in front of the public should be in congruence with the message of your speech. Pair always your delivery with the message. Another thing that we must consider is, of course, the fact about your nervousness. It is not wrong to be nervous. Being nervous actually is a good sign for us public speakers because it it keeps us on our toes whenever we do public speaking. Dahil sa nervyos, okay, or dahil sa kaba, naaalala natin na kailangan nating mag-ingat sa bawat salitang sinasabi natin sa unahan. The moment that you find yourself you're no longer nervous is the time that you should be very afraid because that is the time that you are susceptible to making mistakes. Okay lang po ang kabahan, okay lang po ang matakot paminsan-minsan because it reminds us that there are certain instances wherein we are prone to make mistakes. Kaya nga nagdo-double the effort ka. Kasi alam mo na maaari kang magkamali along the way. Versus doon sa tao na wala nang kakaba-kaba na along the way, tsaka siya magkakamali. And for us to be able to control and not totally eradicate our nervousness, we just have to be familiar with the topic. Choose a topic that would be that would be interesting to you, something that you are very, very passionate about, and something that you're very knowledgeable about. After that, you practice your speech until you feel as if it's just natural to you. You're comfortable delivering it. And of course, a doctor cannot treat his own disease. So the best way for you to be able to validate whether you're doing a great job with your speech is to deliver it in front of a discerning audience, an audience that would be able to pinpoint or to tell you your mistakes so that you would be able to improve further on your delivery. Now, nonverbal communication is also as important with our verbal communication. Why? Because if the verbal communication is strong, but the nonverbal communication is really weak, okay, we will be able to create a very impactful and a very substantial, a very effective public speaking engagement with our audience. Of course, we need the nonverbal communication to reinforce the message of our verbal communication. And when you do nonverbal communication, such as establishing eye contact, it makes you appear more credible. It makes you appear more sincere. An erect posture, on the other hand, makes us more comfortable, and it leads us to a better delivery of our speech because you are allowing air to pass through you naturally, and you have a better voice projection. Always remember that everything that is excessive is already overbearing to the side. So too much gesture, so too much gesturing, as I may say, in front of an audience would only cause confusion to them rather than understanding of what you are trying to say. So use your gestures appropriately when expressing the proper gesture for every emotion within that particular speech. Of course, too much gesturing in front of the audience would only make you appear confused or worse, nervous. Now, how do we improve our visual signs? When you are standing, stand straight, keep your feet apart, keep your shoulders relaxed, keep your arms to the side, keep your head and chin up, stomach in, chest out. Don't slouch, don't shift feet, don't ever sway, don't cross arms, and don't hold your head with your hand like this one. Don't do that. When you sit up straight. If there's a need to cross leg, do it at your ankle level and always lean forward slightly. Don't ever slouch, fidget, or ship in your seat, or sit with your knees spread across, or even tap your feet when sitting. When you walk, you move purposely. You maintain a deliberate stride, just enough for you to cover all, just enough for you to be able to look very regal and very purposive. And bend always your knees when picking up an object. Don't ever drag your feet, clump or shuffle, or worse, do angle duck or duck walk. It's very distracting. When doing gestures, you gesture with an open palm. Why open palm? In psychology, when you just they say that when you gesture with an open palm, it means that you have a broad and open mind. Okay, you are open-minded as regards to the opinion of your listening audience. If you are to point, do it with your fingers together. Don't ever pull this accusing finger, and of course use gesture to reinforce your message, but always vary your gestures, otherwise the students will be imitating what you're doing in front. Don't put your hands on your hips, don't ever do that. It seems as if you are exerting authority over your audience. Don't over gesture as if you are doing a dance already in front. Don't play the things inside your pocket. That's why before you go in front, you empty those pockets. And of course, don't point an accusing finger because this one is very, very offensive to your audience. Whenever you are in front, smile when needed, have a direct contact. But of course, if you're having eye problems just like me, you can just look right in between the eyebrows. Be animated. Okay. Don't appear too draggy in front of your listening audience. And of course, if someone is talking or responding to what you're saying, you nod positively as a showcase of respect. Don't frown. Don't stare. Don't have a shifty eye. And of course, do not yawn in front of your audience. Now, what are the mannerisms that are usually distracting to a listening audience? Well, I must say scratching or picking at yourself is too distracting. Tugging or playing with your hair, drumming your fingers on the podium, fidgeting, yawning, clicking bands, shaking or swaying your legs in front, rocking while standing, hands in your pocket, playing with your keys. Men usually do this. They they do it. They just attach their car keys on their snap links. That don't ever do that, please. Playing with their keys is really distracting. Twirling your hair strands for women, readjusting your eyeglasses, wearing noisy jewelry, running fingers through your hair like this, and of course, knocking your or cracking your knuckles. Those are very, very distracting mannerism. And so I hope that in the last few minutes of your time with me, you're able to fully understand and hopefully to deliver yourself a very substantial and a very effective public speech. Always remember that if you can speak, you can influence. And if you can influence, you can change lives. Once again, my name is Arlene Raymunda Monge, and I hope to see you soon on my next topic. With that, thank you very much, and may we all have a very good day ahead of. Thank you.